DreAllDay.com.
What up, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. This week's motivation is that your first sale has to be to yourself. And I'm sure all you have heard this concept before. There's a story that I heard, actually, same guy I was talking about in the last week's video, is a guy named Zig Ziglar. He used to be a salesperson. He used to sell these set of cookware, like pots and pans. So he was he was doing really good selling these pots and pans. So one day he was sitting with one of his friends who was also in the same business, but his friend wasn't doing as well selling the pots and pans. So Zig is sitting in this guy's house, and the guy's like, Zig, I don't understand how you're doing it. You making all these sales. I'm not making any sales. I just don't get it. What is wrong with me? And Zig said, I know exactly what your problem is, friend. And the friend said, okay, what's my problem? He said, the reason that you're not selling anything is because you don't believe in the product. And the guy and his friend was like, Zig, you're crazy. I absolutely believe in the product. I know all the sales pitch. I say it perfectly. I basically describe it the exact same way you describe it, Zig. Why are you making all the sales, but I'm not making any sales? And Zig said, friend, listen, I know that you don't believe in the product. I have 100% proof that you don't believe in the product. And his friend said, what's the proof? And Zig looked over at the guys, because they're sitting in the kitchen. He looked over at the guys, his pots and pans in the guy's house, and they were a different set of pots and pans than the ones that they both were working as salespeople for. So Zig's point was this: you don't even own the pots and pans that you're selling. So you didn't even sell them to yourself. How you going to sell them to anybody else? So you don't even believe in it. That's why you're not selling any. And his friend was like, well, no, the reason I don't have them is because they cost too much. I don't have enough money. I just can't afford to buy them right now. But I do want to sell them, and I know the product, and I got the perfect pitch and everything. Zig said, listen, man, if you don't own it, if you're not sold yourself on the pots and pans, you're not going to be able to sell anybody else on the pots and pans. So eventually his friend gave up all his excuses. He went and bought the pots and pans, the cookware, and he actually started selling more. And another story I'll tell you is when I was a freshman in college, I responded to some ad that was on campus at my school at Penn State Altoona. It was like, you want to make some extra money, et cetera, et cetera. So I responded to this ad, and it happened to be this company called Cutco. They sell knives. Now, I know a lot of y'all heard of Cutco because they still around. Funny thing is, 2 weeks ago, I was talking to my uncle, and my cousin, who's in college right now, he responded to an ad on his college campus, and they was still selling, and it was Cutco knives. So I know they still around doing their thing. And I was listening to a podcast, this guy named James Altucher. He was interviewing a dude who was one of the top salespeople in the whole company. So people do actually sell these knives. But the point is this: I didn't last long in Cutco. I lasted probably, I think, 3 days, because it got to the point where they were like, yo, if you want to sell these knives, you got to go to people's houses and give demonstrations. But the only way to give a demonstration is you got to own a set of knives, because you got to take it to the house and get a demonstration. We don't give you knives. You got to buy them. And the set of knives was like $700. And what's crazy about Cutco knives is that they actually work. These knives actually do cut through damn pennies. They cut through cars. Like the way when they did the demonstration, these are the best knives I've ever seen in my life. But I couldn't afford the knives. I didn't own the knives. I wasn't sold on the knives, quote unquote sold. So there was no way I was going to be able to sell the knives. And it's the same thing with you. If you're going to sell people on anything, you want people to believe in you. Because I get emails from athletes all the time, and they say, Dre, I want to do this, I want to do that. I want to play in college. I want to play in the NBA. I want to play pro basketball. I want to be the best player that ever played. I want to be as good as Kyrie Irving. I want to be one of the best players ever come out of my neighborhood, out of my state, out of my country, and the world. And then the next thing they say to me is that, well, the problem is, I don't have confidence. Or somebody says something negative to me, and then my whole game shuts down. Or the coach yells at me, and then I don't play my best. Or I go to the courts every day, but when I see guys I don't know, or I see guys who are older than me, bigger than me, stronger than me, faster than me, better than me, with more experience than me, I don't play as well, or I get scared and I just go home. Or I get in the game and I know I got all these skills, but when I get the ball, I just pass it. Or I shoot it and I don't even dribble or try any of my moves. Well, here's the thing. You're not sold on yourself. How you going to sell anybody else? You can't get from point A to point B if you don't sell yourself on the fact that you can get from point A to point B. You can't expect anybody else. Like, players come to me and they say to me, Dre, can you help me have more confidence? Or can you help me show my game more when it gets into a game situation? Or can you help me have people believe in me? Tell me what I need to do when people talk negative to me so it doesn't bother me and I just keep doing my thing. Here's the thing. If you are not sold, I can't sell you. I can't sell you on you until you are sold on you. Once you are sold on you, you'll be able to sell everybody else on you. But if you don't own the cookware, you don't own the pots and pans, you don't own the Cutco knives, like it's like if I had tried to sell Cutco, right? If I had gone to somebody's house and I didn't have the set of knives and I just went in there and just talked to them like I'm talking to you, like, listen, these knives are so good, they can cut through a car, you'll be able to cut any fruits or vegetables that you got in your house, any problems you get, anything you need that has to do with a knife, is a knife in this set that's going to be able to do it. And the people be looking at me like, okay, Dre, it sounds great, where the knives at? Let me see it. Let me see how great these knives are, so I can at least put something on paper, quote unquote, that I can see how good they are that you're describing it. But I don't have a set of knives to show them. That wouldn't make no sense, right? I wouldn't sell anything. How many knives would I sell if I could just describe it in words better than anybody in the world, but I don't have a set of knives to actually show you? How am I going to sell them to anybody? That'd be impossible, right? You got to own the knives in order to sell the knives. So if you want people to believe that you got game, you got to believe that you got game. You got to sell yourself on the fact first, and then you can sell other people on it. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com. If you want to learn more about everything that I'm talking about, check out my book, The Mental Handbook, also The Mirror of Motivation, on Amazon.com. Dre All Day. Thanks for checking out this video. Make sure you follow all my top content up here. Follow me on all your favorite social networks right over here. And make sure you are subscribed to catch all the new content I put on this channel every single day. Work on your game.